So this video is about the SEO part of editing the page, okay? So, we're looking at this thing here, this dot that's orange. It's like red is bad, orange is medium, green is good, and then gray usually probably means there's nothing filled in. So, that is urgent. It's urgent to fill those things in. At least if it's red, then you can, it's, yeah, there are these things to fix. If it's gray, that's important to get something in there as soon as possible, because the sooner you have those bits filled out, the sooner Google can start ranking your pages. All right. So you click on Edit Product, and then you scroll down basically to this section here where it says WordPress SEO by Yoast. Yeah. And the whole thing is, this is what you want the end product to look like. You want the end product to look like this. So somebody searches for wooden African masks, or African tribal mask, or wooden African tribal mask. Google basically boldens whatever they've searched, whatever they've typed in, right? So that's bolden. Also in the description part is bolden. So and the URL is there, right? So it says it in the URL as well. So it basically, these are all the parts that you're looking at. So it says, first things first, you want to make sure that the terms, the keywords that you want to target is actually in this section here. All right. As you basically start typing, let me show you. As you start typing, it will start coming out. So let's see, African. You can see wooden African masks, but no, because we want one mask, right? So, but I did the research already, and I know that once you start typing that, you see it comes out like that. So you got tribal mask, tribal statue. Let me see, handcuffed wooden African tripod table. But the mask is what we're looking for. So yeah, we gotta make sure the mask is in there. And then once you've got that, Google, the plugin is gonna say, okay, cool. This is the word you want to focus on. Make sure that it's in the article heading. So the article heading is here. All right. So make sure it's an article heading. So we'll put it in there. One thing I wanted to tell you about when you're putting the titles in, when you're creating the pages, make sure every letter, every first letter is capitalized. It's it makes it easier to read, right? It makes it easier to see. So make sure you see ALWATM, make sure they're all capitalized. So anyway, that's the article heading. The page title, right, is the same thing. So this also counts as the page title, right? So the page title is also in here. Once you put it in here, that's the page title. That's article heading as well. And then the URL. The URL is what we have here. Up this here. Yeah. So if it ever says, if you ever see that it says it's not in the page title, in the URL, if it says to you that it's not in the URL, that's the section it's talking about. You click edit, you can see the full thing right there. See that? Mask. So you put it in like that and you separate it. Any space you separate it with a dash. You don't do spaces at all. You just separate the dashes with you separate the spaces with dashes. Right? Hyphen. Once you're happy with it, you click OK. This one I haven't done anything to it, so I'm going to click cancel. But the difference is, as you have so many wooden masks, yeah, and we want to focus on wooden African tribal mask, you want to make sure that you always have something else in front of it, so that you have the black black wooden African mask or whatever, but we should give it proper names. All right, that's my idea anyway. We should give it names. So antique leaf wooden African tribal mask, that's good, because it makes it different from any of the others. Anyway, so we have it in the article heading, we have it in the page title, we have it in the page URL. Content is here. So this section here is content. All right, and then we have it in the content here, right? So wooden African mask is the content here. Wooden African tribal mask. So that's that. Ideally, this page here needs more. It needs more text. I'll talk to you about that another time, but it needs more text. Okay, so it's in the content once. You can put it in there more times. You can mention it a couple of times, but that's something I'll explain to you again later. And then we have the meta description. The meta description is this here, this section here. Right? This is what Google, anyone that searches in Google, in the search engines, they're gonna see this in the results. All right. So, and this is where you write that. Okay. This has to be at least 156 characters. It can go a little bit over, but ideally it shouldn't go over. It can be less, but ideally, try and reach the 156 characters that it says. All right. It's we can copy and paste it in other places so that you can just slightly tweak it. But anyway, if you look over here, it's been mentioned again in here, right? Wooden African tribal mosque. So we have met everything that is asking here, right? So that's once you've done that, that's good. But if you click on page analysis, it'll tell you what you could do to make it better, right? So green, for example, says the images on the page contain, so that's good. The keyword appears in the first paragraph of the copy, which is up here. First paragraph, that's good. In the specified meta description, consider how does it compare to the competition, right? So, could it be made more appealing? We can look at who else is ranking and see what it says in theirs and see how we can make any adjustments to make ours more appealing than theirs. So, because the whole idea is you want to ask yourself why a potential customer would click yours rather than click theirs, or that kind of thing. And that's what we're going to need to address. Then here, green as well, says the keyword phrase appears in the URL of this page. So that's great. So now what's yellow? Let's see what's yellow, right? There's no subheading tags, no H2. That's because this is just one line. Ideally, maybe, as I've said before, we need to write more about it. I'll talk to you about that another time. The page title contains keyword phrase, but it does not appear at the beginning of the title, which I don't know. We can do something like we can switch this around and call it antique leaf, like wooden African tribal mosque, and call it antique leaf, something like this. Let me show you. We can probably do this. And that will resolve that issue that it's talking about in this section here. Let me see. The page title. Okay, cool. And then here it says no outbound links appear on this page. Consider adding some as appropriate. We work on that later. This section here. Work on that another time. I'll explain that to you. The page title contains 39 characters, which is less than recommended 40 characters. So maybe I just add another character to it somehow, or it might be a space or whatever, but we'll work it out. And then here, what's red? This is what's important, dealing with the red things. You've used this focus keyword 5 times before. It's probably a good idea to read. Yeah. As it's products, I don't think it's a big deal because you're going to have many products that are similar, right? So it's not a big deal. I mean, something I'll look into, but you don't have to worry about. There are 31 words contained in the body copy. This is far too low and should be increased. This is very important, and this is what I'm talking about here. This and all our pages, we need to actually do some research or pay somebody to do some research on these masks so that we can write something about them, So really and truly, once you've done that, just click update and you're good to go. All right, good.